Now I'm an old man, but I still remember my first trip to another country like it was yesterday. It was a long time ago, but that day is forever in my memory. Back then, I was young, full of energy and curiosity about the world. I had never left my country before, but I always dreamed of visiting different places, hearing new languages, and seeing things I only knew from books and stories. It all started unexpectedly. One day, out of nowhere, I received a letter. When I opened it and read the words, my heart almost jumped out of my chest. The letter said I had the chance to travel to another country. I blinked a few times, reread the words to make sure I was not imagining it. But it was real. My big dream was about to come true. I ran to tell my family. My heart was beating fast with excitement. When they heard the news, their faces lit up with joy. They hugged me, smiled, and told me how proud they were. They knew this was a unique opportunity. That night, we sat together, and they gave me valuable advice. Enjoy every moment, learn as much as you can. Don't be afraid to explore new things. I listened to every word as if they were precious pieces of gold. And so my journey began. I didn't know it yet, but that trip would change my life forever. I started packing my bags. But to my surprise, I got lost among my clothes. What should I take? Warm coats for the cold or light shirts for the heat? And shoes? What if I needed something I didn't pack? My head was full of questions. So I went to my mother, hoping she had a magical answer. She smiled calmly and said, "Take both. You never know what you might need." It seemed like simple advice, but it was wise. After all, the world outside was a mystery to me. I followed her tip and continued organizing everything, trying to imagine what my new adventure would be like. When the big day arrived, I woke up with butterflies in my stomach. It was a mix of nervousness and happiness. I hugged my family tightly, holding back the tears that wanted to escape. They wished me luck, gave me a few more pieces of advice, and then it was time to leave. When I arrived at the airport, I was amazed. I had never seen such a big place. People rushed everywhere, pulling suitcases, checking schedules, speaking different languages. I tried to understand where to go, but everything seemed confusing. My heart was racing. Then, the most awaited moment arrived, boarding the plane. When I stepped inside and saw the interior, I was impressed. It was huge. I found my seat and looked around. People were talking happily, but in a language I didn't understand. That made me a little nervous. What if I needed something and couldn't communicate? But before I could think too much, the plane started moving. My heart pounded every second. The ground outside got smaller. The houses looked like toys. The cars turned into tiny dots. And then I realized I was flying. It was scary but also magical. I looked out the window, fascinated by the view. The sky seemed endless, and the clouds looked like cotton. At that moment, something inside me changed. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I was sure of one thing: my life would never be the same again. The flight felt endless. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't sleep. My mind was full of questions and expectations. I looked out the window and saw only a sea of clouds, soft like cotton. Would the new country be like mine? Would people speak my language, or would I have to communicate with gestures and smiles? After many hours in the air, a voice came through the speakers. The pilot announced we were preparing to land. My heart raced. I pressed my face against the window and saw the city below, an ocean of bright lights, so big it seemed endless. Reality hit me. I was about to step into a completely new place. As soon as I left the plane, I felt a mix of relief and excitement. I had never been so far from home. The airport was huge, modern, full of bright signs and voices echoing everywhere. People walked fast, speaking a language I didn't understand, and I could barely keep up. I followed the signs to get my luggage, but when I reached the baggage claim, I looked everywhere and nothing. My suitcase wasn't there. My heart jumped. What if my bag got lost on the way? What if I had to live without my clothes, without my things? I walked back and forth, searching carefully. The anxiety grew with every second until suddenly there it was, blue. A little squished, but mine. I sighed in relief and grabbed it like it was a treasure. Now, my journey could truly begin. I took a taxi to the hotel, but as soon as I got in the car, I realized another challenge. The driver didn't speak my language. He just smiled and pointed to the back seat. I sat down and hoped he understood. The address I had written down. As we drove through the city, I barely blinked. Everything was new, grand, and fascinating. The buildings were so tall they seemed to touch the sky. The streets were full of cars, the sidewalks crowded with people in a hurry, neon lights flashed. Shop windows shined, and the city's sound was a mix of honking, voices, and music. The driver spoke to me a few times, trying to make conversation. I wanted to respond. I wanted to understand what he was saying. But all I could do was smile and nod. At that moment, I wished I could speak their language, just to share my excitement. When I finally arrived at the hotel, the receptionist greeted me with a smile and handed me the key. The room was small but cozy. Before lying down, I walked to the window and looked at the city lights. Everything seemed so different, so grand. A chill ran through my body. I was really here, starting a new chapter in my life. I sat on the bed and for a moment thought about my family. I already missed them, but I knew this adventure would be unforgettable. I had the whole world in front of me and I couldn't wait to see what it had to offer. If you want to keep learning English in a fun and easy way, don't stop here. Click on the video on your screen now and learn even more. Every step brings you closer to fluency. See you there.